Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Historical Markers. We are going into Shannon County, Missouri, and we're going to go around and see what we can find and learn some history. And if you would love to join us, that would be wonderful. So stay tuned as we find out what there is to see and learn about in Shannon County, Missouri. All right, we are here at Alley Springs, and there is a marker here that talks all about the saving a wild river system. So, I know it's hard to read because of the shadows on it from the leaves, but it's got a really neat map here about the river system throughout this area. And it says, Americans love their rivers, and with the passage of the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act in 1968, many more beautiful free-flowing streams came under the protection of the National Park Service. Today we benefit from the foresight of an earlier generation in the preservation of the Current, the Jack's Fork, the 11 Point, the Buffalo, the St. Croix, and many other rivers across America. And it's all a result of an idea that was born here. During the 1950s and 60s, rivers across America were being dammed for hydroelectric power and for flood control. Had that fate befallen the Current River, the spot where you stand would now be under dozens of feet of water and the springs submerged at the bottom of a reservoir. Thanks to citizen action by concerned people both in the Ozarks and outside of it, a bill was introduced into Congress to prevent damming by establishing the nation's first river-based national park, the Ozark National Scenic Riverways, in 1964. The bill stated that one of the purposes of the new national park was to be the preservation of portions of the Current River and the Jack's Fork rivers as free-flowing streams. And there's a postcard from the 40s. There you go. Sorry that was so hard for you to read with the shadows. All right, as we walk up to this old schoolhouse, can you just imagine teaching a building full of kids that range in all ages and levels? That would be something. Well, here's the marker for this schoolhouse. It says Stories Creek School was built in 1896, approximately 4 miles northeast of Eminence. In the early 20th century, about 25 students were schooled at Stories Creek. Sitting in double desks, students from 1st through 8th grades learned alongside one another. The school was consolidated with Eminence in 1957. There were approximately 88 one-room schools in Shannon County at one time. One of the first was right here in the community of Alley. It was a log structure believed to have built in the 1880s. The second school at Alley was a clapboard building similar to Stories Creek School. The third Alley school stood down the road from the present-day General Store Visitor Center. It was a 2-room stone building that served hot lunches and provided 2 years of high school. The main subjects in these one-room schoolhouses were the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. Schools were often the center of social activity in the community. Spelling bees, ciphering matches, ball games, and pie suppers were activities eagerly anticipated by the entire community. Schools were commonly used for church services, campaign speeches, and polling places as well. Stories Creek School was donated to Ozark National Scenic Riverways by Mrs. Edna Smith Staples and moved to this location in 1971. Visitor fees are used for preserving historic and cultural resources such as Stories Creek and Alley Mill. So there's this picture here, and it says a small teacher's bell signaled the end of recess, while the larger school bell signified the start of the school day. The larger bell would be rung multiple times to alert community members of a fire or an emergency. This was one of the hand-hewn log schools. This was the teacher that was built for his wife Leona. The man Ira Healy built it. We're going to go look inside there in a minute. There's a chalkboard, and in front of the room bears the handwritten names of former students that have returned to visit Stories Creek School. Many still visit the school to this day. Now, this was Allie's third and final school, a stone structure, 1914, and a poem you can pause and read there. All right, let's go take a peek inside the school. Big old wasp just flew in my face. I don't like that. All right. If you watched the old Little House on the Prairie, a TV show, was one of my favorites. Should look somewhat familiar to you. It's a lot like this. Here we are coming up into the mill, and I just kind of wanted to, you can hear the water from way back there. But we do have a marker here that we're going to get. But I wanted to just kind of give you this beautiful view of where they would have utilized the power of the river here to run the mill. So over here is the marker we're looking for. And there's more things to do here at Alley Spring. There's a couple of markers here. This one is talking about fire management in the Ozark National Scenic Riverway System. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but you can pause and zoom in. Talks about different native plants and birds. Now this is Alley Spring, and it averages 81 million gallons of water. I guess that's a day, yeah. Can you imagine? 81 million gallons of water a day. Wow. And I think this one's flowing into the Current River. Okay, this is the actual Alley Springs monitor or marker. It says the Alley Mill Hamlet. The cool, clear water of Alley Spring churns from a funnel-shaped basin at an average flow of 81 million gallons per day. Because of the abundance of fresh water, this site has been inviting to a variety of inhabitants. Archaeological evidence suggests that native peoples have been present around the spring for centuries. Early settlers built a grist mill at the edge of the spring. In 1894, the steel roller mill was constructed and still stands today. Steel rollers that ground the grain were powered by a turbine rather than a water wheel. The Alley Mill turbine can be seen beneath the porch on the east side of the mill. The presence of a mill led to the addition of other services. Eventually, the community that developed around the mill contained a general store, blacksmith shop, post office, and school. The area became known as the Alley Mill Hamlet. Because of early preservation efforts, Alley Mill remains as a symbol of our heritage. In 1924, Alley Spring became one of the first Missouri state parks, and in 1970 was designated a national park site as part of the Ozark National Scenic Riverways. And there's some pictures along the way. Okay, we are on the grounds of the Shannon County Courthouse in Eminence, Missouri, and we're here for this marker. It says, here in one of the most beautiful areas of Missouri's Ozarks, Eminence was founded as the seat of Shannon County after it was organized in 1841. First located north on Current River, the town was burned in the Civil War by guerrilla bands who overran the area. After the war, Eminence was laid out, 1868, on Jack's Fork of the Current River. Named for George Pegleg Shannon of the Lewis and Clark expedition, Named for George Pegleg Shannon of the Lewis and Clark expedition, the county lies in the Big Springs country of Missouri. In this region of over 5,000 square miles are 11 of 69 U.S. springs of first magnitude, which is a 64,600,000 gallons daily minimum. 3 of these, Alley, Blue, and Welch, are in this county. Of 23 ebb and flow springs in the U.S., 5 are in Missouri, 3 are in Shannon. In 1924, 2 state parks were established near Eminence. In Alley Springs State Park are an 80,800,000 gallon spring, a cave, and pioneer mill. At Round Spring State Park, a spring gushes into a bowl 80 feet across and 30 feet high. Parts of the county are in Clark National Forest, set up in 1933 to 39. West on Jack's Fork is the Missouri State Teachers Association Resort, Bunker Hill. Now we're going to go around to the other side. Eminence serves a resort, lumbering, and livestock farming county, first settled in the 1820s by pioneers from Kentucky and Tennessee. The county is part of the region ceded by the Osage tribes in 1808 and utilized by Shawnee and Delaware Indians until the 1820s. Missouri's first copper mine was opened near here by Joseph Slater in 1837. Others were established, but mining was done only intermittently after Michigan's mines were opened in 1846. Iron was also mined for a time, and in World War II, Missouri's only manganese mine was opened at Thorny Mountain. The forest resources of Shannon County were harvested by the thousands of acres by big lumber companies between the 1880s and the 1920s. The town of West Eminence, Winona, and Birch Tree were once booming lumber camps. A program of reforestation is bringing the timber back to the hills. Among scenic points are the state parks, Blue Spring at Owl's Bend of Current River, Ebb and Flow Spring at the mouth of Jack's Fork, Welch Spring at Cedar Grove, and in Horse Hollow, Sinkin Creek. All right, we are in Birch Tree, Missouri, and we're here for their Veterans Memorial that they have. It says, this memorial dedicated to the men and women who served our country in war and peace. And it has all of the branches of the military and then the wars listed under that. Got a nice little park here. Okay, this is Rocky Falls, Missouri. Is that not beautiful? There you go. That was Shannon County, Missouri. I hope you learned a few things, and thank you for joining us. And there will be many other trips to go on through the miles of history that we learn about. So like, subscribe, comment, do all the things. And we hope to see you on the next episode of Historic Markers.